Hey, how's it going? It's Ollie here. So today I wanted to talk about entrepreneur bullshit, right? Now, in the past 10 years especially, the concept of being an entrepreneur has kind of blown up online. And while there's a ton of really good advice out there about how you should work hard, how you should, escape the matrix and do all these crazy things to get success, that stuff's all true, but at the same time, there's a lot of bullshit out there, just bad advice and just blatant lies that misguide people. So rather than getting all triggered, I thought today we could just have a look at some of it and just see how hilarious it is. Now, one thing I want to mention, I've been shooting videos for the past few days, every day, and one thing I'm battling with is just the ridiculously inconsistent lighting. Like, the sun seems to be going in and out of clouds every 30 seconds. So yeah, if it starts to get dark in about 10 seconds, I can't even be bothered to try and edit it out anymore. It's just going to stay in the video. So apologies for that. So let's start off. So the thing that really made me want to make this video actually was this article talking about Jack Ma. Now, Jack Ma is the CEO of Alibaba. You know, I really respect the guy. He's a billionaire. He's achieved more than most of us will ever achieve in our lifetimes, right? But this just kind of crossed the line. Every now and again, like a really awesome entrepreneur will just come out with some complete bullshit. And that's the kind of stuff I wanted to address today. Now, one of the first things you'll notice about Jack Ma is the fact that his face is way too small for his head. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a person who's had this condition quite so severely. In fact, someone photoshopped Jack Ma's face to make it really small on his head, and I think that was like one of the best caricatures we've ever seen. But anyway, aside from that issue, recently Jack Ma came out with this thing he preaches called the 996 work week. He says that working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week is a gift beyond monetary gains. I think one of the reasons this caught so much attention is because there's just so much preaching about working unbelievably hard at the moment. There's so much like hustle porn and just people talking about how you should be working till you completely burn yourself out. Now, the big problem with anyone who says you have to work 12 hours a day is that you can only ever do 4 hours of really deep work, like focused creative work in a day. So if you try to do 12 hours of that, like, the other 8 hours are just going to be bad quality work. Like, if you're doing admin tasks and stuff, it's fine. But for deep work, you can only do a short amount. So after a certain amount of hours, like, this stuff just becomes completely irrelevant. Anyway, let's look at some more. Okay, so here's an article from Cody Monson on Medium, and like, there are hundreds of articles like this all over the internet. I just picked on this one. Again, nothing against Cody. I'm sure he's a cool guy and everything, but this cracked me up. So the title of the article is "How I Learned to Sleep Only 3 Hours per Night and Why You Should Too." Now, again, like, recently, glorifying having no sleep has become a massive thing as the rise of kind of pop culture entrepreneurship started to really grow. I really don't think there's any chance you can sustainably only have 3 hours of sleep and be healthy, productive, functional, and run a business on top of all of that. And most people, right, who run a business have got other stuff as well. They've got family, they've got social life, they've got kids. 3 hours of sleep is just nonsense, right? In fact, one thing to understand when you're getting into entrepreneurship is any sleep schedule can work. Like, just because you're awake at certain hours throughout the day doesn't mean that you're going to make any more or any less money. And being unbelievably tired all day, again, really not going to make you productive. All right, what else have we got? All right, so this is a post that I saw in a list of people's daily morning routines, right? When they wake up, they said, what do you do first to have a really kick-ass day, right? They had people like Tai Lopez and a few others on there. But this one from Ian Clark just made me laugh. This is what he says, right? He says, I drink a cleansing mineral in 1 ounce of water, drink 1 quart of structured purified water to flush out my system, then do 20 minutes of Turkish get-ups with a 45-pound kettlebell to wake up every muscle. I have a 36-minute session on my Sequex, whatever that is, and take 3 millimeters of Oceans Alive marine phytoplankton, the ultimate brain nutrient, apparently. I use 30 sprays of Ease Magnesium on my abdomen and lower back after my shower, then take a supplement for cellular repair. For breakfast, I eat 3 different types of fruit and 2 farm fresh fertilized organic chicken eggs. Finally, I have a green smoothie. I think that's probably the biggest pile of crap I've ever read. Like, if he is doing that every morning, then, good luck to him. Sounds a little bit like he's just made it up to me. Look, it's got dark again. And I think it's going to get bright again in a second, right? But this just made me laugh. I mean, look, the point is, if you want to be productive all day, I don't think you have to do all this really complicated stuff, like eating phytoplankton in order to be more successful. I really don't think that stuff makes too much difference. And then finally, we've got, oh my God, this cracked me up. I saw this 6 months ago, actually. This is from Tom Bilyeu. And first of all, I, again, massively respect Tom Bilyeu. But this post, I just couldn't ignore it. This is what he says, right? Sleep habits, right? So he's giving you advice on what sleep habits he thinks you should have to be successful. Right, number 1, stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Number 2, use blue blockers 2 to 3 hours before bedtime if you're on screens. Okay, fair enough. 3, go to bed early. I'm in bed every night at 9 p.m. like it's religion. Number 4, set your intention for what time you want to wake up, but do not set an alarm. Number 5, use white noise to ensure deep sleep. Number 6, use a device like an Oura Ring to track the quality of your sleep. So there is so much stuff here that's just never going to work in practice. Like, if someone's got a job, how are they going to wake up by using their intention instead of an alarm? Like, you can't show up to work and be like, oh yeah, sorry boss, I set my intention too late this morning. That's why I'm late. Like, clearly that's not going to go down very well. Also, if you have to stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bedtime and you go to sleep at 9 p.m, that means you have to stop eating at 5 p.m. So that means you have to have dinner at 4 p.m, right? So all these people that are going to work and have to come back from work at like 6 or 7 p.m. after their commute can't eat when they get home. They have to eat at the end of their work day, then get on the train or drive home and then sleep. Again, it's just ridiculous, and it just keeps pushing this myth that you have to do some crazy stuff with your sleeping patterns, with your diet and everything to really get results. Now look, to me these are hilarious, and they crack me up when I see these examples, right? And again, they are small pieces of content which are bad advice. Now, in amongst loads of good advice. In fact, loads of Tom Bilyeu stuff is really awesome, but this one just made no sense to me. The point I wanted to make was that, look, you don't have to be some kind of freak to be successful. In fact, for me, like, my sleeping pattern, my diet, the stuff I eat in the morning, the time I go to bed is all really ordinary, and actually it's really quite boring. Like, in the morning, for example, I really can't be bothered to cook breakfast every morning. I just can't. I don't want to get up and the first thing I do is like get out some eggs and a frying pan and have to clean up a massive mess. I just want to get up and just get moving. So I just have a protein bar when I wake up, right? I usually wake up, it varies, but between 9 and maybe 10 a.m. Right, so not crazy. I usually go to bed at like between midnight and maybe 1, sometimes half 1. So I get about 7-8 hours sleep. I just wake up pretty much when I wake up, because obviously I don't have a job, but if I had a job, I'd probably set an alarm. At the end of the day, if you do want to be successful, rather than focusing on all this stuff, right, about waking up stupidly early, eating phytoplankton or whatever else, Just take simple actions and be consistent. And there's examples, so many examples of people out there who don't do all this crazy stuff, waking up at 3 a.m. and stuff, and they're really successful. For example, Winston Churchill, he did most of his work until 11 a.m. in bed. And then I think he'd take an hour and a half break for lunch, and then he would work till about 5 p.m. and then he would stop. Right, and that's the way he liked to do it. And I think that's one of the reasons why he was successful, because he structured his day the way he wanted to structure it. So the point I want to make after all this is, look, when you're deciding how to build your business, I think the most important thing is just to do you, right? Do what you're comfortable with. Come up with a sleeping pattern that makes you feel well rested. Right? Listen to your body. If you feel too tired, maybe you need a bit more sleep. Maybe you need to take a nap. Like I often take a nap in the afternoon because it just helps me recharge, helps me focus more, and it makes me more creative throughout the day. Maybe that's something you need to do, right? And don't buy into the myths you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to be a millionaire. It's just complete nonsense. Awesome. I hope you found this video enlightening, maybe a bit funny. I found some of these posts pretty hilarious, and I hope you learned something from it. And really it's more just of a rant. But anyway, if you're looking to really put this stuff into practice, build a business that fits around your lifestyle without having to be like some Instagram motivational entrepreneur who gets 2 hours sleep a night and hustles 24/7, join my masterclass. There's a link in the description. Also, to get some help, get some questions answered, get some free content, join my Facebook group, and also subscribe to this channel and like the video if you've enjoyed it, and I'll make a ton more for you. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon.